Welcome to the InfoGov Hot Seat Vodcast, featuring candid interviews with practitioners, consultants, and solution providers on hot topics in the information governance industry. Here's your host, Jim Merrifield.
Fact about yourself.
Well, that is
Put you on the spot.
such a fun person all the time. It's pretty hard to isolate one aspect of my life, but I'm actually teaching my two grandsons about classical music, and they each have their own pair of chopsticks, and when we get together, I put on some classical music and we conduct the orchestra.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Good for you. And you're a winemaker, right?
No,
A wine
I'm
connoisseur?
a wine drinker, not a winemaker.
Okay.
And I do have a 37-year-old bottle of wine. So one thing I could do is, Jackie, I can keep it for next year and I can bring it here and we can see if my preservation strategies would lead to a legal disposition. We could share it right here.
I love it. I love it. I love that idea. So let's talk a little bit about your company. I know there's you were telling me a little bit last night about it's a startup, right?
Yep.
Encompass.
Right.
Encompass. What made you start that company?
It was actually started by one of my top business partners. I used to manage the content management business at HP and then at Micro Focus. And one of my top partners in the world had an idea around 2013. He was going to build the next great records management solution in the cloud and address a lot of the shortcomings in the product I was asking him to resell. And it's been an interesting journey because we found out a few things. One is that the world's probably not looking for the next great records management. There's a company called Microsoft, which has kind of captured the mind and attention of IT within large enterprise. And as a result of that, the old maxim, it's good enough, really is pretty true today. Purview is pretty good enough. Now, not to say that there's not a lot of holes, but from a long-term technology perspective, we also didn't want to build a business on chasing Microsoft. We wanted to actually work with Microsoft and do things that Microsoft can't do within the Purview environment. And we've explored and we've actually implemented some very interesting new technology foundation that allows companies to basically do three things: is address the velocity of information, address the accuracy of information, and address the timeliness of information. And that's really kind of what our focus is on, because most business problems encompass one, two, or all three of those factors.
That's great. I can't wait to track that over the next year, see where it goes.
We can demo it for you tomorrow if you're not busy.
Yeah, look at that sales pitch on recording. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears a little bit. I know, David, over the years, you've been in this industry for a while.
Right.
And over the years, you've supported this conference, right? This is the fourth year,
It's
right?
the fourth year.
It's fourth year. Next year is going to be 5. What has made you support this conference, and what value have you seen from this conference specifically in Jersey?
Well, I think you've hit the key word, value, right? This conference actually provides a lot of value to the people who attend it. And I have to say that one of the great strengths of ARMA is the local chapters. Each of the local chapters, and not each, but the large ones like Houston, like this one, like Susan, New England, they're putting together these conferences because in one day or a day and a half, I think the members get a lot of value out of the people. And it's not just people like me or the incredible attorneys you've had here. It's the networking, it's the ability to talk about things. And when you're sitting in a room with people in 8 hours, sometimes you can get a lot more accomplished than you can by going to Detroit, for 4 days. So I think the value that this conference provides us in learning a lot of things, and also the information that we can share with those who attend, is pretty important.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a nice alternative, especially all of us, right? Especially the times that we're living in right now with the economy the way it is. It's just not, even if we want to go to Detroit this year, it's just not possible for everyone, right? Obviously, we'd love to have you in Detroit, love to see you in Detroit, but obviously it's great to see chapters like Jersey, like New England, and New York, and Houston still putting on, and others that I, forget to mention. Forgive me. Still putting on one-day seminars,
Right.
2-day conferences to still give value back to the local chapters.
Right, exactly. And I think that, for Armor to be successful, I think they've done a couple of smart things. They've created a relationship now with MER, and I think that brings a different perspective of information governance to the organization. And I think by pushing more out to the field where everybody's living and working, breathing, those are two things, as the incoming president, those are the things that I would offer to you, to take back to the MER conference. I mean, to the Army International as you ascend to the role of president, which is a pretty big role.
Yeah, for sure. At least I have a year to learn.
Get your feet wet.
Get the feet wet, yeah. So that's great. That's great advice. So let me ask you, I asked the same question to Ann and Jackie. The industry's changed a lot.
Right.
What are you excited about in the next, I won't even say 3 to 5 years. What are you excited about this next year?
Well, I'd like to see how this AI piece plays out. I think it's a no-brainer, but there's a lot of work to be done to get it out of the, this industry I've been in it a long time. So I remember client-server computing. That was a big buzz term. Then you had people talking about big data. Then you had people talking about robotic process automation. And, these are important concepts. Some are more faddish than others, and some have real lasting staying power. And I think the technology that you see coming into the market today has tremendous staying power, but it has to be managed, one, as part of a much larger holistic solution. That's something that Gartner advises, and that's something that, I totally ascribe to that. And the second thing is that the solution has to be encompassing, guardrails and also other aspects to make the end result, the recall, the presentation of information trustworthy and explainable. I think those are the two things. And the industry has made huge progress over the last year and a half on this concept of explainable AI. From a vendor standpoint, we still have a lot more to do in that space. And, we're committed as a business to proving out, as opposed to saying, if we tell you that that's our secret sauce, I'd have to shoot you. So.
No, you know what? You mentioned something in one of your presentations, I think it was about an hour or two ago, if my memory serves me correctly, and it struck a chord with me. Being on the practitioner side, and I spent a little time on the vendor side, and I think you would agree that the most successful clients are the ones that work together with you, right?
Absolutely.
Why would you say that? Just for the benefit of everybody.
Well, look, I mean, I used to use the tennis analogy, but no one's playing tennis anymore, so it's a pickleball thing. When you play doubles pickleball, you're on the same side, working together to achieve a result. And certainly, vendors have great answers, but they don't know your business like you know your business. So we're providing a platform, a foundation to provide great answers, but the vendor really has, the client or the customer has to work with the vendor and really direct the vendor, integrate the culture and the business aspiration and the business problem into the solution. These solutions are all very powerful, whether it's ours or Shiny Docs or anybody else. There is a lot of inherent computing power in these solutions. But at the end of the day, it's only as good, just like we talked about earlier today, as Jason said, it's only as good as the information you give it. Customer and the vendor work together to produce a great result.
Yeah,
I believe that, wholeheartedly.
No, absolutely. It'd be fair to say that, for us as practitioners and solution providers, business partners, it's a true partnership, right? We can't view each other as, and we're never really enemies, but, we must work together, right? With this AI and new technology, ChatGPT, because you can't do it by yourself.
No,
right?
I can't.
But you might have the resources, right, that maybe the client doesn't.
Yeah. Look, I don't know how many meetings I've been in, but the second question we always get asked as a vendor is, where have you done this with my data before? And I've always wanted to be snarky and say, does that mean your data is not stored in rows and columns? Are you storing it diagonally or some other way? But the reality is you really have to work together. And look, partnerships, business partnerships, somewhat like a marriage, so I've had successful business partnerships and, I've had unsuccessful marriages. So I kind of know what works on both sides. And luckily, I'm a lessons learned guy. So, I've been able to carry that through. But, we have to work as a team because we're only as good as the combination of technology and culture and, business requirement. If we don't get those things together, it just doesn't work. The old Heisman trick, stay away from me, you're a vendor. It doesn't work anymore. So that would be another message I would give to a lot of the people who attend the ARMA conference. It's not about the tchotchkes you collect on the show floor. It's about the people who you meet, both within the industry and because vendors, can provide answers and solutions, and we're getting way better at helping organizations build business cases to prove an acquisition of new things. I mean, that's what we live on. But there's a flip side to that. That's what you need to be successful in your role, to get that bigger seat at the table and to provide real business value to your organization.
Yeah, that's spot on. I couldn't agree with you more. Well, listen, David, thank you so much for joining me in the hot seat. I know you literally just found out this morning.
I think the hot seat for sure.
I know the hot seat. You sat next to me at dinner, but little did you know you were in the hot seat today.
I had no idea it was going to be this hot. It's okay.
Awesome. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Congratulations.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the InfoGov Hot Seat. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and LinkedIn. Check out our main website at infogovhotseat.com to view our latest episodes and much more.